believe from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and you're willing to put in the work to be the best at your craft, then the money will come. You don't got to worry about money. All you have to do is decide that you're going to put the work in, and you're going to learn what you need to learn to get what you need to get and accomplish what you need to accomplish, and the money will show up. When you have a monetized mindset, operate in a shallow energy where it's only just about making some money.
Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. First of all, let's thank God for the blessing of a brand new day and the opportunity to once again enhance self. God could have made your whole life one sunrise and one sunset, but he chose to break it down. So no matter how dark it's been, today we have been blessed with the light of another day.
Yes,
welcome, guys. We got a great topic today, don't we, Coop?
Yes, we do.
Today we're talking about why are you not doing your best? That's a very touchy subject for a lot of you guys that's out there and that realize that you're not where you want to be because you're just not doing your best. But we want to talk today about why people don't do their best. That's crazy, right?
Yes.
We actually reached out to a lot of people and had them give us an honest opinion about why they feel like or why they believe that they're not doing their best in accomplishing their goals and accomplishing their dreams. And one of the things that we heard a lot was focus. They can't focus.
Right.
Tell us about focusing.
Well, focus. What I interpret when it comes to being focused and concentrating on your goals is being able to zoom in on what you want to do in your life.
Right.
Kind of have some sort of goal setting, some writing in your journal, spending some time to meditate and see where you want to be at, taking the necessary steps. Sometimes having a mentor. All of that falls into focus. And zeroing in on one thing, not many things. I think a lot of people don't achieve their goals, in my opinion, is because they have too many different things going on. They want to, and if they say they want to be a businessman, but they go and work at the supermarket and deal with people at the supermarket, then they find another platform and they dealing with this and they dealing with that. I believe that success is based off of focusing on one thing that you're trying to get done.
Absolutely.
And you have any examples for me when it comes to that?
Absolutely. I was reading books. I'm a big fan, guys, of John Grisham. He writes really, really, really interesting books, and they all pertain to law. And the one thing I've learned from reading maybe 20, 21, 22 of his books is that, in order to be a really, really successful lawyer, you have to specialize. Yeah. It's not good to say, I do everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
How many times do we know somebody that say they do everything? And one minute they got their own soap business, they got a shirt and tie up here. The other minute they tell you they change brakes. You know what I mean? I can change your brakes. Didn't you just say you got a soap business, my man? What's going on? But I'll change your brakes and I can fix your plumbing.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I you know what? I'm in the real estate too. You need a house? No, listen, man. You can't do everything.
Right.
You got to focus on it. Somebody once told me that you can be the jack of all trades, or you can be the master of one, and then you can hire other masters in your life so that you have a higher quality of life.
Right.
So it's not important to be the jack of all trades. You have to focus. I talked about this in one of our other shorts.
Yes.
And I said, horses are very fast animals, and they race them. They still do today, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But what they used to do is horses' eyes on the side of their head.
Yes.
So a horse can see like forward, kind of backward a little bit, and to the side because of the way his eyes sit. So sometimes he would not race his best because he was looking around at all the other horses. So they would put these blinders on the horse,
right,
where the horse can only see forward. How many of us know that we're not getting what we want out of life because we're not doing our best, because we do not have the blinders that are required for success?
Right.
We're so busy talking and thinking and acting on the things that don't mean anything. One of the most famous lines I heard, and I know you got to quote with somebody, but I love it. It's called, "The things that matter most must never be at the mercy of the things that matter least."
Yes.
But if you're not focused, you're going to react to anything. When you're focused, you don't react to the small things. You react to the big things, right?
Yep.
It's important to get the big things done. So you guys got to learn to put your blinders on. You got to learn to say, you know what? That's not that important.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not that important. Let me put my blinders on. Let me find out what my goal is, and let me give myself a valid reason why I'm not doing my best. Right. Because that's a touchy subject.
Yes, it is.
You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not doing my best because, you mean you losing because.
Yes.
You ain't get what you want because.
Yes.
You didn't focus. So you guys got to put aside all those distractions and focus. Another one is a camera, right?
Yeah.
You know how you when you ever look in a camera and or you first do it, it could be blurry or binoculars, a better example. You can put on binoculars back in the day and they'd be furry, and then you had to turn the little knob to really focus in.
Right.
Right? And some of us need to turn the knobs of life.
Right.
To say, hey, man, you know what? Everything's looking fuzzy because I'm not focused on exactly what it is that I want. You know, 1 minute I want to be a business owner.
Right.
But the next minute I want to be somebody that don't let people play with me on social media. They know not to play with me. You feel me? You can't be both.
Right.
You know, decide what you want and focus and set your goals and move forward. What you think about that?
I think that's very accurate. You definitely have to keep your focus. You have to tune in to exactly what you say you want to have, right? So you can't be a police officer and you're sitting up at late night and you're reading books on nursing. So you would have to start reading things about law enforcement, the laws, the codes, and things of that nature. I believe that's the point that we're trying to get to. But I also wanted to talk about one of the things that keep people from being successful is patience.
Right.
Right. So sometimes, you know, when we study successful people, we study how patient they are, right? They know that you don't get to the next level in one day. It takes time, right? It takes steps. So you're not gonna go from being the guy that if you're, for example, if you're working at the supermarket, you're not gonna go from being a guy that does the bags, the groceries, to the general manager in a matter of a month. It can happen, but that's not reality, right? Reality is that you go from being the guy that greets people at the door to the bag carrier to eventually the teller, one of the people that check people in and out. Then they move you and they train you over to do the what do you call it? The banking when you get your money orders, you cash your checks. You have to learn all of the systems of the supermarket to eventually have you in the position if you say you want to be the store manager. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Patience is important because
Yes.
every great journey starts with the first step.
That's right.
And every time you take one step, you have less steps to take.
Right.
So if you look at somebody and say, I need you to climb all 5,000 stairs, that's a lot of stairs to climb.
Yes, it is.
Nobody want to climb all those stairs. That can be frustrating. But if you understand, as soon as I climb one stair, I no longer have 5,000 to climb.
Right.
I'm now at 4,999. If I take one more, I'm at 98.
Right.
And one more at 97. Because you don't always have to all the time see the finish line.
Right.
What you have to do is know it's there and just take one step at a time and be patient. I mean, how ridiculous would it be to sit there and watch a tree grow? You know what I mean?
That's right.
It takes time.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because over time things get strong. You can step on that tree when you first put it in the soil,
Right.
and it come out. It's weak.
Right.
It's vulnerable. But you let that tree; those trees can grow into sequoia trees.
Yes.
And sequoia trees are huge.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look like ants standing next to sequoia trees.
Yes, you do.
That same sequoia tree still started off as a
small little thing.
Little thing.
And an experience, along with being patient, that experience of going through the steps breeds confidence.
Absolutely.
You understand what I mean? It's going to breed a level of confidence. It's going to breed a level of understanding for you to move to the next step. That's why being patient is so important. Right. That's why we practice that. We say, okay, well, it may take, for example, we do home health care. Most individuals don't know that it might take a year to a year and a half before you get to another step. Absolutely. In the home healthcare industry. Yep. And a lot of people lose their will, they lose their patience, they lose that eye when they first started because they can't, like you said, they can't see the light. They don't understand that the things come in steps and process, and once you get to that next level, you still got more to do. So patience is a very big key. Patience and patience will breed enough confidence as you go through the experience, but you need the patience to eventually get you to your end point. You gotta have it. It's a part of that process. They gotta have that. Absolutely. We all have to have patience. Whatever you're doing out there right now in America, if you're striving for it, it's gonna take time. But you know what you gotta do? Sometimes you have to slow down, but stay busy. Patience doesn't mean stop either. Patience doesn't mean that you're just halting all of your motivation, you're halting all of your movement. It just means that you understand that things are coming and they're not zooming to you, but you still have to be moving in the process. That's what patience is going to take. So you have to be patient. And I think people haven't lacked that sometimes can't achieve their goals if they lose their patience.
Absolutely.
What was the other thing that you had?
Well, basically, to recap what we talked about, though, if Sha'Carri Richardson, who was really, really fast,
Yes,
doing
one
really
of my
well,
favorite
she would
athletes.
never run her best race if she was looking in the crowd while she was running. So you got to focus to achieve your goals.
Yes.
Right? That's why you're not giving it your best. You're not focused. And then patience. If you weigh 500 pounds and you want to get down to 200 pounds, you can't expect to hit the gym on Monday and be 200 pounds by Tuesday. It took you a long time to get fat.
That's right.
So it's going to take you a long time to get unfat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you have to be patient, man,
Yes.
and understand that where you are today is maybe a direct reflection of a lot of bad decisions. So you can't make one good decision and think things are going to get well. You got to make a lot of good decisions because you made a lot of bad ones. You know what I mean? And what that comes with is patience. And once you have that patience, you can keep going hard, and even though you don't always see immediate results. Another thing they talked about is people are comfortable with where they are. A lot of people say, "Well, they text us, I'm not giving it my best because I'm just comfortable where I am," and that's okay if you're being honest with yourself.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you go buy yourself a car from Erie Avenue for $800 and you're really, really, really happy in that car, and that's the type of car you want, then that's fine. Be comfortable with yourself, but don't start crying to me when the joint don't start on a Tuesday. Because you could have got a Benz.
Right.
But you stop hustling. You start acting like something that wasn't as good is good.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is you're making an excuse why you don't want more.
Right.
Nah, this is good enough. No, you should be thankful for what you have.
Yes.
And you should be appreciative of what you have.
Yes.
But you're not going to convince me that an $800 car is the same thing as an $80,000 car.
It's not.
It's not. It is not going to perform the same.
Right.
So what type of goals and dreams and aspirations do you have? Are you just looking for some oodles and noodles?
Yes.
Are you okay with chicken flavor? Are you okay with beef flavor? Or do you actually want chicken? And do you actually want beef?
Right.
If you're okay with chicken flavor and beef flavor, don't sit around and act like it's real chicken and beef and don't expect the world to act like it's real chicken and beef. You just complacent with the flavor. That is salt and pepper, my man.
Yep.
With some red dye.
Yeah.
That's not real food.
That's not real food.
And so many people are complacent for what they are. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. And one thing that we used to always say back in the day is stagnated.
Stagnated.
That's what they are. I mean, that's what that is. When you're stagnated, you're stuck in one place. You know, they always say that that if you leave something stagnant, if anyone out there in America has ever went by a lake and you smelled a vicious smell, it's because all of the feces inside of the water, all of the dead fish and things that are unalive are living in that stagnant water. So your life can be like that. So you're getting a lot of stink. You're not things you want a new promotion. You want things to go to get better for yourself. It's because you're stuck in that same space. You're not moving, right? And this happens to anybody at any level. You can buy a new car. Let's just say you bought a new car in 2018. And 4 or 5 years or 6 years that went by. It's time for a new car. You ever see that? You ever wonder why people have cars for like 8, 10, and 15 years? And they say that, you're like, well, did you like another car? Did you want to get another vehicle? Right?
No, man.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one. And now you see them out there, they're working at midnight and trying to fix the engine and the tire has another problem. Some people that know how to fix cars, I'm not talking about these particular people. I'm talking about people that got satisfied and comfortable where you were, right? So, for example, a family that moved into a single family house that has 3 bedrooms, right? And mom and dad is in the house and they're still frolicking around as a family, doing what mother and fathers do. And now we have one more child. And now we have one more child. And now we have one more child. Well, the family has outgrown the single family home. We have to figure something out, right? So if you have a dad or a mom or a family that gets stagnated in that position, now the family has outgrown the home, right? You have outgrown the position, right? So someone has to start setting new goals. That's what we mean when we say stagnation, that you have to continue to adapt to growth. You have to continue to adapt to become better people, to become a greater person, to expand. That's what growth is. That's what we're speaking about when we say that individuals that stop themselves from being successful, they become stagnated, right?
Absolutely.
Right? In some circumstances, again, we're not speaking from a perspective where we're high up. We're just saying in life, you cannot get comfortable in a space. You have to continue to push yourself to be great.
Absolutely.
Right?
And stagnation is dangerous.
It's super dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous because you may have gotten comfortable and used to something that's not good for you.
Wow.
You understand?
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that?
Because you've seen it so much, you've gotten comfortable.
Yeah.
I went over a person's house, and when I was young, I had a little Caucasian friend. I want to make sure I say the right thing, guys.
Yeah.
But my little Caucasian friend, I went over there, and he was kind of wealthy.
Yeah.
His family was, and his mom was like, "Okay, guys, stop playing the game and come in here eat dinner." And I was like, fine. That's what we're going to do. I appreciate you allowing me to be over here and eat dinner. He said, "Hold on, Mom. We're not done with our damn game. Don't come here interrupting us till we're finished." And shivers were through my, I started shivering. Like, wait a second. What kind of weapon is Mom going to bring in here after you just talk to your mom like that?
Right.
And all I heard back was, "Okay, honey." So obviously, she's gotten complacent.
Right.
And comfortable with something that's not even good for her.
Right.
Because she's now comfortable with a child that disrespects her. She doesn't understand there's another level of parenting where you can actually parent your child.
Right.
And that becomes sad. How many of us today are in a position that we don't want to be in? When we first got there, we had a problem with it, but all of a sudden now we got comfortable with it. I'll give you an example. You walk into my house and you don't have roaches, and they have roaches. You can try to have a conversation, but I guarantee you, your body language will say, "Hey, man, I don't know if you guys noticed, but you guys have roaches, man.
Yeah.
This is terrible." And so you're sitting there and you're squishy and you're trying to, they talk about the Eagles and you see the game last night. Well, I did, but I mean, there's one right there. He's big. That's a large one that looks pregnant.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're uncomfortable.
Right.
But the people there are like, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" It takes them a while to even figure out that you have a roach problem. Why? Because they've gotten complacent with the fact that having roaches is normal, so they don't even notice them anymore. How many of us are in a position that we should have a problem with being in, but we done got complacent with things like roaches and mice and rats, and we no longer even strive for better because at the end of the day, we start saying crazy stuff like, "Well, they just animals." That's not no cat.
That's right.
That's not a dog. That's a roach.
That's right. That's a rat.
Step on it.
That's a rat.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
To you? So this can stop you from doing your best when you don't focus. It can stop you from doing your best when you're not patient. It can stop you from doing your best when you're complacent, especially when you're complacent in a situation you shouldn't even be in.
Again, I want to reiterate about what you just said. It was so deep, right? America, do you understand do you understand the danger of being stagnated and being complacent? Is that the examples that my brother just gave you was that you start to normalize failure. You start to normalize not achieving things that you said that you want for yourself. Do you understand? So for the example of a roach parachutes out of the ceiling and falls into your lap or your bowl of cereal, and you don't take that as a declaration of something being wrong, and I'm not supposed to be in an environment like this, that means you have normalized having that type of activity going on in your living live life, right? So stagnation, I mean, I thought that was a great statement, that it is extremely dangerous and damaging because you normalize not being the best you can be for yourself, the best you can be for your family, the best you can be for your children. So that's why it's dangerous. So being stagnated is not just, we're not just saying that. We're saying, hey, look at your life. Okay, I failed again. You come in and someone in the family, did you pass your math test? Oh, no, Mom, I failed again. Right? Hey, Johnny, how was work today? Oh, you guys know how I do. I got fired again. What? Yeah, the electric bill is due. Oh, I'm late again. The lights might be off. Get some candles, guys. So we start to normalize that type of activity in our lives are very dangerous.
Absolutely. Another thing they talked about why people don't do their best, and someone texts this, is because they are caught up in maybe toxic relationships. And they blame it on other people. How many people out there feel like they could be successful, but the partner that they may have chose though they love them, they have to be honest with themselves and say, is this the right person for me? It doesn't mean that person's a bad person,
Right.
but it's the right person for me. I mean, if you got a goal, I know guys who have a goal to lose weight,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden when they get home, the woman is making the plate bigger than it should be. You know what I mean? Guy's on a mission of losing weight, and then all of a sudden he comes home and she's got macaroni and cheese and a loaf of bread
Yes.
and spaghetti. The spaghetti and macaroni and cheese
Don't go together.
Doesn't go together. What made you pick that meal today?
I don't know.
And they might not even know it consciously, but subconsciously they may be saying, I don't really want you to lose weight and to change because you may not look at me the same. We have to make sure that the relationships in our life are conducive to us accomplishing our dream.
Yes.
Because a real friend, a real partner doesn't not want you to win.
Right.
And let's talk about how dangerous that can be picking the wrong one.
And listen, and so some people could put that in a category. It could be just man and women. You know, we say relationships, but that goes into so many different compartments in life.
Absolutely.
Right. So, you know, you have to watch who you bring into your cipher, into your circle, into your personal surroundings, because these people could bring in, for example, the wife that's making food for you. It's not that she doesn't love you. It's just that she wants that love to be the way she wants it to be, which is not good for you, because what are you doing? You're getting high blood pressure. You get high sugar, and now this could be a life-changing effect if this stuff happens, if stuff starts happening to you physically, right? So you definitely have to, I believe that we definitely have to keep toxic people and toxic mentality. What do we mean by toxic, right? Every time you say you're ready to reach a goal, someone used the word but, right? You ever have those people in your life, America, where someone every time, hey, you know, I want to go and I want to get a journal. I want to become a journalist. You could do it, but remember, in journalism, you remember sometime we saw a journalist get hit upside the head with a hammer because he was in the wrong neighborhood and they didn't like the way he looked and things of that nature. So that can become toxic, right? Or you get someone, every time you're talking about something positive, they're grunting under their breath. Or it can be toxic when you go in the house and you like a clean environment and it's dirty inside of the environment and it's crowded. That's toxic to some people, right? You know, you go in, you're like, oh, so there's nothing clean. I'm just talking about, could be a roommate, and a roommate leaves 3 weeks worth of dishes, and of course something's wrong with you if you allow 3 weeks worth of dishes in your sink. But you come in and you look at that energy can become toxic because someone is not on the same page with you. Hey guys, we know cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Let's keep the house clean. Hey, we have chores in the house. Hey, set some goals. Hey, I don't want to hear rap music coming out of I don't want to hear loud music playing over my head at 10 o'clock at night. That can be toxic. Or someone, when you come in from work, your husband is arguing with you as soon as you get in the house. Well, who did you get dressed up for today? That wasn't for me. You don't. When it's time for us to go out, you don't look like that when it's time to go out with me. That could be toxic energy. Right?
And again, everything we're talking about is still an excuse, because you still have to do your best, period, if you really want to accomplish your goals. But in regards to relationships, I'm definitely not a relationship expert, but I will say this. If you work on the best version of you, you can present the best version of you. And if the other person is working on the best version of them and they can present the best version of themselves, that is two people at their best trying to make it work. Once you sacrifice that, once you sacrifice your own goals, dreams, and aspirations, you become a version of yourself. So I don't care who you with or what's going on. You got to tap into you because you was born alone. You understand what I'm saying to you? And these are your dreams. You only have your brain. So if you going to sleep and you thinking about these things that you want to accomplish, then you have to remember that it's your responsibility to understand that any of these things, focusness or your relationships or being patient, all these things are excuses as to why you're not winning. And excuses are tools of incompetence built upon monuments of nothingness, and those who practice them in their uses are seldom capable of accomplishing anything. So I need you guys to remember, do your best, believe in yourself, become the best version of yourself, and you can accomplish anything.
Sure can. I do want to just, before we go, I really don't want to speak after that, but I do want to say this. In the process of things being toxic, what becomes more toxic is not being able to let things go.
Absolutely.
Before you came into the home healthcare industry, I was one of the first people that you talked to about it. Actually tried to drag me into it, and I didn't see any vision of that, right?
Yes.
So, but what that means is that, we've been brothers since taking bathtub, being in the bathtub together, as little kids. So, and being your best friend. At that moment, you knew that you had to move forward without your brother to get where you wanted to go, and say, hey, you'll catch on later. So when we speak about toxic relationship, it doesn't always have to be, quote unquote, a negative situation.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to be able to walk away and continue to move forward to stand on your own for you to fill your goals. So you can become toxic by trying to hold on. Sometimes you got to let go, and then you can meet back up later.
And let me ask you this. If you had a birthmark on your belly, would you argue with somebody about whether or not you had one just because you had a hoodie on? No. I'm not arguing about that.
Right.
So why are you trying to convince the world that your dream is going to work and you're the one with the dream?
Wow.
That's foolish. How many of y'all go out there and call your girlfriend, call your friend, ask their opinion about a dream that you didn't get off your butt and start pursuing?
Right.
They are going to shoot it down, not because they don't love you, not because they're not on your team, because it's not their dream.
Wow.
So focus on yourself and
Wow.
believe in yourself, and you can achieve it. That's our story, man.
And we're sticking to
and
it.
we sticking to it.
Have a good one.
Leave from the
Let's
top of
see
your
what's
head to the bottom of your feet, and you're willing to put in the work to be the best at your craft, then the money will come. You don't got to worry about money. All you have to do is decide that you're going to put the work in, and you're going to learn what you need to learn to get what you need to get and accomplish what you need to accomplish, and the money will show up. When you have a monetized mindset, you operate in a shallow energy where it's only just about making some money.